We've asked the ladies one question, and I believe this question is going to help everybody out there, every mom out there in some way, shape, or form. And the question that we've asked these ladies is just one question, and the question is, over the past 6 weeks, during this pandemic, during this craziness of our world, what has God been showing you as a mother? So over the past 6 weeks, that's the question they're going to answer. What has God shown you as a mother?
Well, during this season, one of the things that I realized was that God just reminded me that I set the tone in my home, and I set the tone in the relationship with my kids. And being the in the phase that I'm in, with my kids and son-in-law and grandbaby, that I've done my part. I trained them in the way that they should go, and I'm believing that that none of them are going to depart from that. And the other scripture that the Lord reminded me of is one of my life scriptures, is that in Philippians 1:6, He promises that He's going to carry on to completion that which He started in us. And I believe that for my children. And for the most part during this season, we've had joy in our home. It's been a season of peace for us. But I would be telling you a lie if I didn't say that there have been some days where I've had to choose joy, and that Satan hadn't tried to get in there and put some dark thoughts in my mind. And some of those thoughts have been thoughts of, wow, some of these moms are posting some things on their social media or getting to do some things with their kids that I wish I could go back and do. Or, I should have been a better mom, and I've had to fight that thought of competition sometimes, and regret, and over this season, and almost of inadequacy. And I think that parents in the phase that we're in, that Rodney and I are in, and me as a mom, the coaching phase, not coaching phase, the counseling phase, I think is what we're really in. We have to realize that we can't fight that battle, and we have to trust God and be the parent that God has called us to be in this season. And when we do our part, our kids are going to come back to us, and they're going to want what we can offer them. And I had to realize that that I had to create that atmosphere in my home and choose joy on those days. I may not agree with what my kids are always doing, but I want to create the type of atmosphere that they're going to want to come back to. And I want that atmosphere not of regret, not of awkward moments, but of joy. And so I just had to keep reminding myself, I'm going to choose joy. And we had moments where our grandbaby they would bring her and drive her by, and instead of regret that I couldn't hug her and love on her, I just played hide and go seek and climbed in the back of Jacob's truck and would play hide and go seek and run around the truck and make quality times, make quality moments, and not regret the quantity, if that makes sense. And I think I just had to say, I'm going to enjoy every moment, and I want to take that out of this season and make sure that we enjoy every moment and not look back with regret. And so I think as moms, we need to, because Satan would love to come in and say, look back at those mistakes you make. And we all have made so many mistakes. And don't let him torment us with those mistakes, but move forward and seize every moment that we have. And I think that's what he's saying to me. God's saying to me, because there's just so many moments that we could rehearse over and over in our minds. And I don't want to live my life that way.
So it's been a very weird 6 weeks for me. Very early on, I decided to quarantine myself because of the job that I do. I was exposed to COVID patients, and Wesley, a lot of you know, Wesley has a very rare kidney disease, and the treatment for that disease is he has to be on immunosuppressant medications. And so I couldn't live with myself if I possibly brought that home to him. So very early on, I was sleeping alone, eating meals alone, watching TV alone. There was a lot of fear, I think, for what I might face each day at work. A lot of uncertainty with job stability, people that worked for me and with me didn't know what their job was going to entail. So I felt the need to kind of have all the answers for them, and wanted to try to fix it, and I couldn't. At home, we had some personal turmoil here in our immediate family before COVID. And so obviously that didn't go away when COVID showed up. So there were a lot of days when I wanted to fix that turmoil and wanted it gone, and I couldn't. So that weighed heavily on me. And then I think like a recurring theme that I'm hearing is I began to compare. I would get on social media and I would see, the moms who, for whatever reason, weren't working. And like many have said, there was some jealousy. They were doing these cool projects, or, exercising with their family, dinner every night on the table. And I guess I had this guilt that I could not do that. Even when I was home, I was resting, I guess. And so a lot of guilt there. I even second guessing, if I had chosen a different career path, would I be at home right now? Would I be tired of homeschooling? So God smacked me upside the head one day. I was leaving work and there's a crosswalk, and I was about to cross the street, and a stranger stopped and she let her window down and she said, "Thank you." I didn't even know what she was talking about. And then it hit me. She saw me in scrubs or whatever, and she was thanking me, I guess, for, being in the hospital and taking care of COVID patients. And that was my realization from God that what I was doing mattered. And, Renee, I love it. Renee always says that we can be moms and we can have a career, but we can't necessarily do it all at the same time. And so I had to come to terms with what I'm doing right now. It matters and it has an importance. And not that my family is suffering or they're on the back burner, but I've got to focus on what I'm doing right now. And so God just let me know that that was okay. And it's okay to not be okay every day. And I can't fix things every day, and I can't make everything right every day. But I'm going to keep going, knowing that the peace that I have comes from Him. And I know that He's sovereign. And I know that none of this crazy COVID caught Him off guard, and He's in control. And so that's kind of where I am, being a mom right now.
Well, I'm in a unique situation. My heart, when Crystal was talking about how quickly these times go, I think that I'm in that unique situation where mine are not in my house. They're creating their own memories with their wives, and so I really had to ask the Lord this question. What have God been showing me these last 6 weeks as a mom? And I think really it's more about communication. We just had really long talks on the phone, and with boys, that's a miracle. But we had long talks, and I kind of told him at the beginning, because I'm kind of like some of the others, at the beginning I was fine, and then I had that moment when I realized that both of my daughter-in-laws were doing things in their job where they were extremely exposed to people, and it brought worry into my heart. And I was just like, Lord, you've got to show me how to continually give this to you, because I have absolutely no control. And I have a little bit of that problem sometimes. And so I just asked the Lord, show me what you want to do. And so I told both of my boys, and their daughter-in-laws, and my daughter-in-laws, their wives. I said, I'm going to call you more often. You're just going to have to love me through this season because it'll make mom feel better. And they were so precious. They were like, we want to talk to you more. We want to be involved more in what's happening with y'all's day-to-day life. And so we had a lot of opportunity to just talk to each other. And in the midst of that, I got to really hear their voice, hear what God was speaking to them. And the Lord reminded me of Romans 12:12 to be joyful in hope. That's really what the Lord has been helping me deal with during this season is this verse, be joyful in hope. We've got to choose joy and hope for the things that are when it's going to improve, and look for what God is doing in this season. We got to be patient in affliction. And that's right where we are. We're in the valley right now. We're beginning to go back up, it feels like. We don't know what tomorrow brings. And so we've got to be patient in affliction and faithful in prayer. And of course, I've always have prayed for my children. They make fun of me. They send me gifts all the time of crazy mamas praying over them, because I am that mother. But I really felt like I went to a new level praying for them. And I'm just so excited for the new normal that's going to come out of this with my children. We've learned to communicate on next levels, and I'm so thankful for that. And only the Lord putting us in this season, this craziness right now, would have brought us to that point where we just really talked with our hearts to each other. And it's a beautiful thing to hear your child's heart, to slow down long enough, to let them talk long enough that you hear what they're saying, and speak life and hope and joy into it. So that's what the Lord's been showing me.